Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today I'm going to tell you all about a gigantic problem with the Switch. I mean, it is absolutely huge, but it's also kind of a nice problem to have. The games! There's too many great games! Now, obviously, from Nintendo's perspective, this is definitely not a bad thing, because the more great games there are, the more people that are going to be interested in the Switch and say, hey, yeah, that's got loads of games, they're going to go buy one, and then obviously Nintendo has sold another Switch. Also, they get commission on each eShop sales, and obviously other sales, so they're sitting pretty. But as consumers, as no doubt all of you are that are watching, except you cheeky little chappies from NUK, I know you're watching, this is kind of an issue, because how on earth are we going to play all of the games, all of the great games? How are we going to experience the most that the Switch can deliver if there's so many of them? I do realise that arguably the Switch is now on the same level as the Xbox One and the PS4, and then it's getting pretty much the same number of games as those consoles, but you know what? We've just come from the Wii U, so we're not used to having, you know, lots of games. I defy anyone who is a reasonable person, who has a reasonable income, to be able to buy all the games that come out on the Switch. You know, in the past this wasn't something that was that unrealistic. You know, there are people out there who own every single N64 game, and, you know, every Wii U game, you know, all three of them. But that it's just not possible on the Switch. Seriously, there are so many games out there, you know, I couldn't possibly list all the games, and I'm not just talking about the physical releases, but also the eShop games. There are so many incredible titles out there. Okay, yes, they may be indie games, and I know some people are out there going to be going, no, those aren't real games because they're only indie games. I only buy retail edition because physical games, and well, you know what? There's no point arguing, is there? To put this in perspective, and I'm not trying to brag here or trying to say, look at how brilliant my life is, but being in the position that I am in, you know, I get quite a lot of Switch games for free through work, you know, from Nintendo, from publishers and stuff like that. So, you know, at the moment, I think I'm sitting on... I wrote it down. I'm currently sitting on 84 games on the Switch. And that's not including freebies, you know, or demos or anything like that. These are full games that are available to download, and I've got 84 of them. And I have bought some of those as well, you know, sort of I do buy quite a lot of my games at the same time, and yet we're still at 84. The Switch has been out, what, 6 months? And there are still so many games I don't have. Despite all the freebies, despite all the other games that I've actually bought with my own real money, these are the games that I do not want, that I do definitely want, and in an ideal world, I'd have all of them. Oxenfree, Thimbleweed Park, Yono and the Celestial Elephant, Sign Mora X, Lego City Undercover, Earth Atlantis, Butcher, Pankapu, Arcade Archives, Mario Bros, Pan, Octopath Traveler, Jackbox Party Pack 1, Ironcast, Slime Sand, and Namco Museum. And that's just the list I could be bothered to write up before I reached the point where I really had to start recording. It's utter madness that there are so many games out there, and you know what? You know what, Nintendo, you're not making it very easy for us. I mean, if there are great games out there, and we know there are too many of them, this is the point of the video, you're not making it very easy for us to find these lovely, lovely, lovely games. You hop onto the eShop and there's no real rhyme or reason or order to anything. There's nothing, I mean, you've got a few sections, you've got, what is it? You've now got offers so you can see what's on sale. You've also got the games all released in terms of their release date, and you've got the charts, and that is it. So the top-selling games, the ones that are on sale, and everything else. There's no manual curation going on here. There's no Nintendo saying, these are our top picks or games we love or something like that. You know, there is the news section, I know, but that's not in the eShop. You go in the eShop if you want to buy things. You don't check out the news section, do you? You go to the news, you go to the eShop. I'm confusing myself. You go to the eShop, you want to know what's hot and what is not, and you're just presented with a very basic and simple interface. And to be honest, I quite like the interface being as simple as it is, but it does not work with this many games. Now that there are so many great games out there, you've got to do more. You've got to point people in the right direction. You can't just say, yeah, these are all the games. Pick some. I mean, you look at the App Store in comparison, the iOS App Store, because it's the one I know, because yes, I've got an iPhone, deal with it. And there are so many things, you know, Apple recommends, there are little things at the top, you know, there's possibly even paid promotions going on there. The most popular apps, I know they've got those on the Switch, but you know, there's so many other ways to sort of discover and find new games that maybe you haven't heard of, but are absolutely wonderful, and you won't know if you just go on the eShop, and the eShop, Nintendo, is your primary source to get people to buy things Because it's where people buy things! I'm in quite a privileged position because I know what games are gonna be good when they come out because we've got a whole lovely team of reviewers. Yes, if you didn't know, it's not just me and Nintendo Life. We've got a whole site that I mention at the end of every video. Why aren't you going on it? So just by default, I'm looking around the site all the time, and so I know what games are going to be good, and you also just sort of get a general feel for it when you've been in the industry, but more importantly, it's the review scores. I see the review scores, I know which games are good, I know which games I want to spend my money on, and that's how I do it. You know, I'm lucky in that regard because I can do that. But everyone else, you know, sort of nobody's going to spend the amount of time on Nintendo Life that I spend, except my colleagues, because they do more than me, except my colleagues. We're in a really weird situation with Nintendo because there are so many fantastic games coming out and thick and fast, even from Nintendo themselves, you know, the retail games. We've got Super Mario Odyssey, we've got Pokken Tournament, we've got all the lovely stuff. ARMS, did you forget ARMS? It's great. Splatoon 2, there's obviously Zelda Breath of the Wild, one of the finest games ever to be made. And it's all on one platform. You know, it's no wonder that the Switch is doing so well. The games are coming out thick and fast, but Nintendo's losing the potential to sell even more games to even more people. Having said that, clearly it's working because the Switch is extremely, extremely popular. I mean, it's been, what has it been? It's been one of the best launches of Nintendo ever, pretty much. And all the indie devs are coming forward and saying that their games are selling more on Switch in a month than they've sold on Xbox Live Arcade in 4 million years or something to that degree. There may be some hyperbole in there. Clearly, it's a success story so far. Who knows what the next coming years will bring? You know, maybe it's a sort of a really big surge and then it'll fizzle out, or who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. Personally, I think it's going to continue to go strong, but that's, you know, it's kind of important for my job for the Switch to go strong. So that's why I want that to happen. But it has got everything going for it. You know, we've got these amazing games coming out from Nintendo, from other developers and all that good stuff. And it's, you know, I mean, it almost looks like Nintendo can't fail, but I'm really sure they could. It is in a great position for success, so many fantastic games, but the eShop isn't making it easy for us. And even then, at the end of the day, it's kind of a problem, not a problem, because there are so many good games. You know, it is a nice problem to have. It's certainly a nice problem for Nintendo, and it's kind of a nice problem for us because it means there's even more interest in the Switch, which is brilliant on our books because it's how we make money. But for the general public, and even for me, you know, even though I get so many free games, I still buy other games, and I'm having to buy other games because I don't get them all for free, unfortunately. And yet I am still not playing a majority of games on the Switch. It's a really weird and alien situation to be in, at least for a Nintendo fan, but it is a wonderful one at the same time. I mean, I don't know, what do you think? Let us know your thoughts down there in the comments, because I think I'm repeating myself. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you question that subscribe button about the curious case of the missing watch? And be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Yeah, you know, the site, I just mentioned it again, I mention it at the end of every video. Why aren't you going on there? Thank you again for watching, bye-bye.